It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I want to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast. I am so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for a very magical show today, as I have with me my incredible diva, Dawn Phoenix. And her and I are going to continue our chat about Breaking Barriers Part 3. Dawn, would you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Yes. Hi, Joyce. Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Phoenix, and I am an intuitive animal communicator and also an intuition mastery mentor.
Oh, wow. I love it. Oh, Dawn, you do so much in the animal world and in the whole nature world and in all of it. It is just beautiful. So, Dawn, as we start our chat today on Breaking Barriers Part 3, we've talked about a lot of different things in Part 1 and 2, and there's so much more to chat about. How would you like to start this one today?
Wow, that's a great question. So, I think we were talking last time, and correct me if I'm wrong, about animals and crossing over the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes.
So I think what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the fact that when our animals cross over, and I think we might have touched on this, but I'm not sure, we can ask them to come back to us. And I'm not sure that that's something that people are aware of, and I think that it can really help with the grieving process. And we can even do this before our animals leave us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh, so true. I totally agree with you how it helps to know. And my thinking is they come back in different ways. They may not come back as on a physical body form, but they come back in the angelic form too. And that is incredibly beautiful. So I'll just let you continue. That was a couple thoughts I thought when you said that about we can ask them to come back, because yes, I totally hear you completely.
Well, and also I brought that up because I wanted to share a story with one of my students who's now one of my mentees. I'm mentoring her in her animal communication journey, and she was so excited last week when we had our mentoring session because she discovered through communicating with her desert tortoise that her tortoise was actually one of the dogs that she had years prior, and they had a beautiful life together for 18 years, and her heart was just bursting. She was so ecstatic with all of these little, Katie, the dog, would throw herself down on the ground and have a fit and pee on herself when I took her to class because she didn't want to go to training. And her tortoise, Hannah, gave herself pneumonia, and she had a fit, and she was not expressing herself appropriately in her throat chakra, so she got herself sick and had to go to the doctor. And she pitched a fit. And so these behaviors, even the shape of their mouth, they both had deformed lower jaws. And so when when my student tuned in and got this information, she said, "Are you Katie?" And she got that resounding feeling of yes. So she had not even asked Katie to come back to her. She didn't know she could, and Katie still came back.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful story. Oh, I love that. And how it came back. It was a tortoise and came back in a dog body form. They come back in different ways too, and that is so beautiful. I mean, it's such a beautiful experience when you experience that, because I've experienced it both ways with animals coming back in another form. I've even experienced, I feel my dad comes back in the signs of redbirds, and one of my dogs comes back. He's my angel that's always with me. And another one has come back in another dog form. So there's so many different ways that they come back. And when you stop and look, you start to see, like with her, saying different things with the tortoise and the dog. And I see so many characteristics with that, with my one dog that's crossed, that's come back now as my little red healer. It's just amazing when you start to look.
Exactly. So I just wanted to share that. And thank you for sharing.
Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful story. Well, how do you come across to, like, your clients, to start to get them to realize that this is possible? Just, it's so hard, and yes, we do go through a grieving process when they cross over. When you can experience that, to know that they're always with you in angelic form, or they're coming back in another bodily form, how do you start to have your clients to understand this process?
Well, in the end, it's really up to them, whether or not they receive it, as their truth. So what I'll do is, when I have a client who contacts me, usually it's because their animal is very sick and or they've already crossed over. But a lot of the times they're aware that their animal is most likely at the end of their life. And if they're not, they fear that they are. And so I'll communicate with the animal and, check and see and get that clarity for them, which is a beautiful gift, to be able to share that. And then it's after we've had that discussion of whether or not their animal is at their end of their life. And even if they're not, I'll let them know, when this does happen, when your animal does reach the end of their journey in this lifetime, I just let them know, I educate them, the possibilities that lie before them, that they can ask their animal to come back to them, and that they don't even have to wait for their animal to cross over. I've already done that with Manitou. So if my clients are open to it, I educate them on the fact that they can, ask their animals to come back. And there are a few caveats, because the animal may not want to come back. My dog, who I had previously to Manitou, her name was Sweetie. She did not want to come back here in the physical form because she had such a physically challenging life, and she was very ill her whole life. And so that was her choice, to not want to come back in the physical. And, I completely understood. If I had her life, I wouldn't want to do it either. So we first need to honor their wishes. But then if they do, agree that they'll come back, we have to be very specific in asking them to come back if we would like them in a particular form. So if we don't, we may have an animal come back as a horse or a cat or something that we may not recognize them in, unless we're really paying attention.
Oh, how true. Just educating them, because my experience is maybe just a little different, because one of my dogs said, no, I'm done. I fulfilled what I wanted to accomplish in this life, and my heart is full, so I don't need to come back. I want to stay in the angelic form. My other one that is now back as my little red healer, she told me, she said, I'm coming back. She said, you have helped me to trust, was hers. She needed to learn trust. And she said, I've learned trust in this lifetime finally that she had. And she said, once I cross, then I'm ready to come back and be more vibrant and have more fun than I'd ever had before, because now I know I don't have to concentrate on learning trust. I'm like, oh my, how beautiful. So it's to me, it's listening, opening up your heart, and listening to what they are saying to you, because they will tell you. And my little red healer that crossed, that was my little soulmate, he was like, I can help you more on the other side, and that's where I want to be, is your angel in the angelic form on the other side. So I'm like, yeah, it gives me chills as I talk about it, because it's such a beautiful experience when you can open up your heart and let these animals fill your heart and fulfill what they want to do for you. Have you had experiences like that, Dawn?
Have I had that experience? Actually, it was very interesting. I've had it myself, but also with my clients. And there was a kitten. His name was Izzy, and he was barely 2 years old. And he was there. His purpose and his mission was to be there with my client's husband to help him have an easeful passing. And he had cancer, and he was fighting the dying process. And so the kitten was there to be with him, lay with him, and help him have a more easeful transition. And once my client's husband passed, the kitten became sick, and he was ready to pass. And she contacted me because she said, she was very intuitive, and she said, I feel like Izzy's at the end of his life, but at 2 years old, I just want to make sure that my intuition is correct. So I tuned into him, and he was so amazing and so beautiful. And he said, yes, that was my life purpose. And he said, it's not about the quantity of years. It's about the quality that we put into them. And this wisdom coming from a barely 2-year-old kitten was amazing. And so he wanted to make sure that my client was okay after her husband passed. And she said, he's my favorite kitten, and I don't know what I would have done without him. And he was a rescue from a group of feral cats. So it was just a miracle that they found each other, but obviously it was planned, and they were definitely soulmates. And so she was able to help him cross the Rainbow Bridge and do so with a full and happy heart, knowing that he had fulfilled his mission and she was not doing anything that was outside of his wishes. And she said he was beautiful until the end. He stayed present with her, with all the other cats. He didn't go off and hide or anything like that. And it was just love. He was love until the end. And now her husband and Izzy are working with her on the other side, exactly as it's been said, that they can do more on the other side than they can for us here sometimes.
Oh, that is a beautiful story. Very touching, and that's so true. That's what my little red healer Groucho said. And when you stop, and I'm sure now this lady, if she's very intuitive, can kind of see the steps that this kitty was taking and how it all kind of fell into place. And I see it so much too with my red healer Groucho, how he was preparing everything. So when he did cross, that he was right there. And so, that was a beautiful story too. Oh, Dawn, thank you so much for sharing that. Wow. Well, Dawn, we have had quite a few technical difficulties today.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
It happens. It happens. It's the universe's way, but I feel we have touched on some very touching parts that can help others when they're grieving their loved ones, their loved pets that have crossed and mean so much to them. And as always, I would love to have you return. And we will work through all these technical difficulties, and we will have a full show and have a great time. So I would love to have you back on, Dawn, if you are interested.
Oh, it would be my absolute honor. It really would. Thank you, Joyce.
Oh, you are so welcome, Dawn. Oh, I love the energy that I feel through the phone as we chat and share with our listeners. And before we do close, would you please share with our listeners how they can connect with you, Dawn?
Sure. So I actually have my website, and they can go to that. So that's dawnphoenix.org, and then there's a / and I have a community that they can check out. So it's dawnphoenix.org / Phoenix Rising. And it's also on my website. So if you just go to dawnphoenix.org, there's a link right there where you can check out my community, and it says Phoenix Rising Community, and you can just click on that. Or you can just go to the same website and then click on the contact page, and you can set up a meeting with me and check out what I do, who I am, and how we can play together.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Dawn. And Dawn, I want to wish you, it was just awesome and such an easy way to connect with you just through the internet and a website and the Phoenix Rising community. And I was on the computer here and just pulled it up, and oh my goodness, how exciting. So, Dawn, I want to wish you a very, very magical day. And until we chat again on Robust Lifestyles, may magic fill your life.
Thank you. You too, Joyce.
Oh, you are so welcome, and all the thanks back to you. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this amazing show with our magical diva, Dawn Phoenix. Please share this show with your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, some of the tips that Dawn left with us, you just have to ask your beloved pets and just connect with them. Heart to heart is the best way to connect. And connect with them before they cross over, what their wishes are, and you will hear them in such a beautiful way. Or they will give you images. They will give you will feel their nearness. So just connect. Remember, connect heart to heart with them. And with that, I want to wish each of you a magical day. Remember, be kind to all. Give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. And also, one other thing, our founder of Divas That Care, Candace Gish, has created another beautiful book called Podcast Journal. It is a great way to connect and keep down a list of all your podcasts that you are watching so you can go back and reconnect with your favorite ones. And this is available on Amazon and also through Absolute Love Publishing. So be sure to check out her new book, Podcast Journal. And with that, until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.